Welcome everyone. I'm going to show you today how to easily or more easily reason about programs leveraging AI. I don't like to be hype about AI technology because I only care about the real use it gives me, and there's no need in embellishing it more than it actually is. And it's pretty good. So let's see how it can be useful. What you see here is a app that I developed a few weeks ago or months ago now. And all it does is it takes a JSON and returns a PHP array style array that you can use in your code. So when you get a JSON response from somewhere, you can easily get an associative array from that. Now, if you would have just checked out that repository as a developer and want to know how to reason about the program, you could read the code, right? That would be reasonable, especially if you see how few tokens that is. It's not a big program, but it would be still easy or helpful to have a diagram, a UML style diagram, something like that, that would maybe explain some of the functionality to get into the program more easily. So I've created a basic prompt which says you're a senior Laravel engineer. Create a mermaidjs diagram showing how the program processes JSON to PHP arrays. If needed, break down into multiple diagrams. Right now I've selected the whole code base. Of course, I have my filters. You can check out my other video about what filters I usually set on Laravel projects. There's a few filters that are not in the base filter, so it's good to leave those out. But we have more files that we don't need. For example, the views. I don't think we need those two files. Those are just there to make the German government happy. We don't need them for our model. I don't think we need the config folder either, right? Because we should be able to reason about what the program does without those files. The README, let's get rid of that as well. And we're now down to 21,000 tokens, which is that's already pretty good. That's already pretty good. Yeah, I think I'm happy with 20,000 tokens. Let's just copy the prompt now and see what we will get. Let's open up ChatGPT. We're using O1 Pro in this case. This will give you even better diagrams. It's a little better than O1, I would say. But, well, we'll have to wait for a while to see what the actual output is. So let's run this chat once. As you can see, it will scroll all the way, and then it will start to think. As I'm German, it will start to think in German, but then the thoughts are English. So you can see it's crafting a mermaid diagram to show JSON handling in PHP arrays, from user input and tweaking to decoding and transforming into arrays. This is done sequentially to ensure clarity. Okay, I'm actually intrigued what it's going to show. It's been a while since I've worked in this project, so yeah, let's see what it's actually doing. Okay, seems like it's thinking about piecing together two mermaid diagrams, the main pipeline, and one for the JSON fixer service. Yeah, the JSON fixer service is something I stole from I think it's the Next.js AI library. I pretty much just gave that to ChatGPT as well and started working on a PHP version of it, and then write tests. And also probably I've just translated some of the tests to then make sure the functionality works. I feel like this is quite a good workflow for ensuring your programs that you write with AI are actually good, is to not only let the AI write code, but also let it write tests. And with that loop, you usually get a lot more efficient improvement. But of course, I mean, there are things that it is just bad at. O1 is a lot better than for O, or for example, Claude Sonnet as well. But sometimes those models just go in a circle and then they regress on whatever they do. So if you don't know repo prompt actually gives us back a XML file that we can use to then create a div. So I'll go back into repo prompt. You can see we can apply here, and I'll just paste the XML into here. And then we can see the files that are created. So let's go into merge changes. And these are the two diagrams that are created. What this does is it actually creates a file in my code base, which is pretty cool because now I have a documentation file that I can actually view in GitHub, and it will be animated in GitHub, which is crazy. But just to check it out, I think we're gonna, well, I wish we would be able to, but I guess we are not. So we will need to actually go here and see for ourselves. Let's see. That's where our diagrams are. As you can see, we cannot see them in PHP Storm, but that's not too bad. We can just go to mermaidjs and then into the live editor. Okay, we are now in mermaidjs, and I've pasted in the code right here. We do have some issue. That's interesting. I've never seen that actually happen. I think the problem is those two, yeah. So ChatGPT likes to really put some weird things into mermaidjs diagrams, and then they don't work. So that's a little annoying, but you can usually fix them pretty easily. And so let's see what actually happens. The user provides a JSON string. That's right. It's a livewire component. And then we can use the convert method, which calls validate. We try to JSON decode the JSON string. If it works, it's a valid array. If it doesn't, we try to fix the JSON, right. And then we transform the array to string. So to get back in the front end, then we measure the performance, store it into the database, show a toast. Okay, let's see if that is actually correct. We go into the app, then we're in livewire JSON to PHP. So the initial mount function, I don't think we're doing anything there. No, that's correct. Okay, so we have the convert function that was mentioned, and we validate, which validates for valid JSON. And then we decode if the, well, it's not quite correct, right? It's still, we always try to fix the JSON if broken. Okay, that's because it's an action that tries to check if it's valid. Yeah, correct. So we check for validation once more. Then we try to fix the JSON. If we cannot fix it and it's invalid, then we throw an exception. We don't catch that here, so it's going to be an error if that happens. Then we validate again, but it should be a correct JSON by now, which is great. If the array is empty, then we just, we give back an empty array. Then we measure the benchmark. The benchmark will just measure the transformation itself. So transform, and then we create the model to actually save the transformation. Then we show the toast, and that's it. So this seems quite correct, to be fair. So let's check out the other mermaidjs diagram. This is the fixed JSON. We need to go here. Let's see. Okay, this works on the first try. That's great. Oh, it also has a nice background. So it uses subgraphs to show it that way. Let's see. Is the JSON valid? Yes or no? Yes, original JSON. Otherwise, we instantiate the JSON fixer service. Fix the JSON, validate the final output using the Laravel validator. That's correct. Otherwise, we throw a validation exception or return the fixed JSON. That's actually what happens. So you can see, well, that all you've seen is pretty straightforward code. But you can actually use this on bigger programs as well. So it's a great way to cheaply create documentation, which would take you hours to do it by hand. I mean, I haven't done mermaidjs diagrams in a while, so I'd be taking hours because of that as well. But even typing those things out is quite annoying. So I think I do really like how easy it is to create the charts using ChatGPT, and I can only implore you to try the same. Use either O1 or O1 Pro, and I think you'll have a great time using ChatGPT either for reasoning about a program you're now getting into, or creating documentation for others to make it easier for them to get into it. So thanks for watching. See you in the next video, and bye.